Greetings, I am the Red Prometheus, and welcome to my channel. This will be a short video addressing a common misconception, one of my personal pet peeves. There's a widely spread belief that during World War I, German forces were outraged by American use of shotguns because they were so effective. This is not true by any meaningful metric. Here are the facts. The US Army deployed approximately 20,000 Winchester Model 1912 trench shotguns and 3,500 Remington Model 10s in World War I, a tiny fraction compared to the millions of Springfield and Enfield rifles in service. Maximum practical range for buckshot was only 35 to 50 yards, compared with the 30-06 Spitzer rifle rounds' effective range of 500 to 800 yards. You see, shotguns were neither as widespread nor as effective as people often imagine. For one, most shotgun shells at the time were made from wax paper, which would swell and degrade in the wet, muddy conditions of trench warfare, making them unreliable. Another issue is range. Shotguns simply did not match the effective range of standard infantry rifles. Now, to be clear, real shotguns do have a longer range than what video games or movies tend to portray, but even so, their lethal range is still significantly limited, and this brings us to the core issue. The controversy wasn't really about how deadly shotguns were, but rather the opposite. The German protest centered on the non-lethality of shotgun wounds. A rifle tends to kill, or at the very least, it creates a clean entry and exit wound. It's also easier to extract a single bullet than to remove dozens of embedded lead pellets. Shotgun wounds, especially to non-vital areas, left soldiers maimed, disfigured, and in excruciating pain. The German argument was that this constituted unnecessary suffering, something explicitly forbidden by the Hague Conventions. Now, some argue that this is hypocritical, given Germany's use of poison gas, but that line of criticism is itself misleading. In fact, France was the first to deploy chemical agents in World War I. In August 1914, the French forces used ethyl bromoacetate tear gas grenades. Germany responded with irritants in October 1914 and then escalated to chlorine gas in April 1915 at the Second Battle of Ypres, releasing around 150 to 188 tons, inflicting thousands of casualties. Some tried to downplay this by saying it was just tear gas, but according to the Hague Conventions, 1899 Declaration 4.2 and 1907 Regulations Article 23A and E, all chemical warfare was forbidden. Regardless, the French broke the seal. They opened Pandora's box, and from there, the progression was inevitable, from irritants to lethal agents like chlorine and mustard gas. Initially, the purpose of poison gas wasn't necessarily to kill, but to force enemies out of their entrenched position. But since one can't simply allow an enemy to displace one's forces with gas and seize fortified ground, gas masks were issued. And thus began an arms race to develop even more corrosive, inescapable chemical agents. The goal again wasn't pure cruelty, but tactical dominance. So even here, the ethical high ground is murky. The use of gas was not intended to be inhumane, but the conditions of war, the necessity of response, escalated its brutality. The moral panic around American shotguns can also be compared to the controversy over the German sawback bayonet. This blade featured small saw teeth on the back, intended to double as field tool for engineers, cutting wood and wire. But its brutal appearance caused outrage. It was said to cause unnecessary suffering, and thus violate the laws of war. In reality, the damage it caused was not much greater than that of a standard bayonet, but perception is powerful. German engineers caught carrying sawback bayonets were often executed on the spot, much like American troops captured with shotgun shells, sometimes killed merely for possessing them. I am not here to defend either side's conduct. My point is to explain the rationale behind these reactions. The moral outrage over shotguns and sawback bayonets was not purely ethical, it was strategic. It served as psychological warfare. Demonize a tool, and you justify disproportionate retaliation. Elevate anger and fear, and you rally support at home. The battlefield is not just physical, it is emotional, symbolic, and moral. So next time you hear these myths repeated, or witness a fresh moral panic take shape, stop and reflect. Are you being guided by facts? Or by memes created a century ago, still steering your outrage?